We are making a purse pouch. To me, it's a little bit bigger than my standard, what I call a coin purse, which is about this size, pretty small. This one is a little bit bigger. This one is 6 by 4.5. This one is quilted and has some good thickness to it. This one has no interfacing, no quilting. This one is 7 by 5. And I literally keep it in my bag. You could put some quilting in here, whatever you want to do. I keep all my little monies, my extra cards, my little wallet. I have my chapstick in here. You can put pens and pencils, all the things that you might need that float to the, or sink, not float, sink to the bottom of your big handbag, all in here. The best part about this, big bag does not need to go into the grocery store or wherever you're going just to run in and get something. Mine would be Starbucks. You just go in with your small bag and your wristlet, and I keep the whole thing in my handbag all the time so it's ready to rumble. You could also hook this to something in your purse, so it's a good one. Let's make one. This is a good gift to give. This is a great Christmas thing to make for friends, family, all the fun people in your life. I am using a pumpkin material because it's what I have right now, and I wanted to use it up because I thought, how fun would this be to pull out of your purse? All right, 2 exterior pieces. They are cut 8 by, 8 by 6. So 8 by 6. You can do these any combination. Like I said, the other one ended up being 7 by 5. So play with your measurements and figure out what you like. But 8 by 6 is pretty good. That's what this is going to end up being right here. So 2 interior, 2 exterior. You want 2 pieces of, I'm using a fusible fleece, batting, whatever you want to call that. You're going to need zipper by the yard. You're going to cut that at, I did mine at 6.5. What I think about when I cut that is I want it to sit a finger width in after I put my tabs on. So some people say take a whole inch on each side. I do 6.5 for my zipper. You're gonna need a zipper pull, and you're gonna need a piece of material 2 inches by 2 inches. This one is long just because it's what was left after I cut this, but you need minimum 2 by 2. I would recommend if you're new, 2 by 3, so you're comfortable playing with your zipper. You're going to make your 2 by 3, 4, whatever it is. You're going to make this into what I call a material taco. You fold it in half to get your crease line. Then you open it up. You bring your bottom line up to the middle, your top line down to the middle, and then you fold that in on itself. You now have a material taco. And now you're going to fill your material taco with your zipper. You're going to place that in there. Okay, so I put that in there, and I just do them side by side. That's why I said you might need 3 inches, but I think you could get away with 3. You could do 2, but you'd have them really close together. All right, what you're going to do is you are going to place this into your sewing machine, and you are going to stitch at about, you know what I'm going to do real quick? I do want to make sure that, yeah, I do have that folded to where I can see the bottom, because sometimes I don't catch the bottom, and you definitely want to. We're going to back stitch, and then we're just going to sew over this. Go kind of slow, make sure you get it all in there. Then you're going to back stitch again. And I'm just going to lift that up. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to make sure that everything is lined up, and I'm just going to go right on to the next side. We're going to back stitch, and we're going to sew over that zipper middle part. It's plastic, it's okay. And we're going to back stitch. Okay, and we're going to pull that out, and we are going to cut that off right at the edge of the zipper. We're going to do that on the inside. This is all going to be hidden, so you don't need all that extra bulk. Go ahead and cut all that off. Same thing over here, and that will get rid of all your little threads as well. We're going to get this out of the way. Oops, they're still attached. Okay. All right, so you basically have your zipper ready, and we're going to put that over here to the side for just a moment. We are going to get our 1 piece of our lining and 1 piece of our exterior material. What you want to think about is, do you have a directional material? And you want to think about, if you do, you want it to be going the right direction. So we're going to lay that down. It is, when I look at it, I know that it's right side up, so it's good to go. We are going to put our zipper on here. So we are going to need, what I use is a 1/4 inch quilting tape, and it works great on the zippers. And I just stick it right at the edge. I do it on all 4 sides of my zipper. Okay, now that you have your zipper tape on, what you want to think about with your zipper before you go to place it down is that you have it going in the right direction. The direction you want it to be going is that your zipper is on this end. So when it's laying down, it's on the left side is how you want it to end up. So I'm going to peel off the top of this piece so that when I lay this down, it's going to be on that top one. Now what I'm looking for when I'm centering it is that I have about a finger's width on each side. And you might want to think about, maybe you do need 1 inch on each side based on what size your presser foot is. I know that mine's going to fit my finger width, and so I'm going to go with that much space on each side. You might need 1 inch just depending on what kind of presser foot you have. All right, so I'm going to put this down. I'm going to press my zipper tape into place, and then I'm going to peel off the other side, and we are going to stick our lining onto that. And now I'm going to come over to the machine, and we are going to give it a sew. Now, where I'm going to start sewing is where my tab is. So my tab is here. I'm going to start sewing right where that tab is. I'm going to make sure it's on there. And you might want to put your zipper foot on. I don't need to put one on this machine. If I were using my FAF, I would have to have the zipper foot on. The foot is too wide to sew any of this. It needs a zipper foot. This one does not. So I'm going to go ahead and take my zipper down to the end, and I am just going to start. I'm going to back stitch. I am in the tab part of my zipper, and I am just running this pretty close to the edge of the zipper. Like this side of the foot is right up against the zipper teeth. Right? And I'm going to get down here to where my zipper pull is, and then I'm going to lift that. My needle is down so that my material is not moving. Allergies. Ooh. All right, where it is. So right on over there. Get to that tab. We are going to back stitch. We're not going all the way to the end, and we're not starting at the other end. We are starting where that tab is. I'm going to lift my needle up. And we're going to give this a little bit of a press, finger press. We just want that to be on that side. We are also going to give this a little tug and a finger press so that it's down. And then we're going to stitch right over the top of that. One, it's going to hold down any material that might pop up and get caught up in your zipper. And then 2, it gives it a very finished, polished look, especially if you're going to try and sell these. You want to make sure you are going to start at the end on this, and we're going to back stitch. So I start a couple of stitches in, and then I back stitch. You could put this at a 3. You don't have to. I am going to. It's just a bigger stitch called, a top stitch. And then we're just going to sew all this down. Now, when you're doing this, you want to look only at where your material line is matching up with your presser foot. You are not watching your needle. You're not looking away from that at any point. You will sew a straight line. I guarantee it every time if you do not look at your needle. So you can see, nice line, super straight, so important. Once you look up, it's like driving. You look away and the game is over. You are drifting. Okay, material, directional. When I have this laid out, this is how it's gonna be. And when I flip it out, this is going to be the direction that it will hang. I like the way that looks. That's the way I want it to be. So I'm going to flip it over and attach it on here. And I am basically just looking for this to line up. I'm going to get that long zipper pull out of the way. I like to have mine towards me so I can see that everything is going together just the way I want it to. And we are going to attach that. And again, you've got your zipper pull there, so just keep that in mind. It is going to be a little puffy. It'll make things look like they're slightly wonky, but they're not. Okay, and then I am going to move that down because I do have to get started. And then we're going to flip this over. Oh, actually it needs to go the other way, doesn't it? I'm going to look at my material, and that is my top. It just has a little more shine to it. That's how I know. I just have to look at it for a second and get that. And then I press that down. And yes, I do need my zipper at the other end now that I've moved it. We're going to start with it down there. And again, we're just going on the tab. That's how we're starting this out. I'm going to move that down just a bit. It's up because of that pull. And we are going to sew on the tab, lining your presser foot up against your zipper. That's how I do it because I know that gives me enough room for the zipper to slide up and down. You're gonna have to kind of get used to what yours does. And if you have a zipper foot, it should line up and give you just the right amount of space. And then I'm going to raise this. My needle is down in my material so it won't move around. I'm just moving my zipper out of the way. We're going to sew right over that. We're going to back stitch while we're on the tab. And we're going to do the exact same thing again. We're going to fold this down, give it a little press. We're going to bring our exterior piece. I go ahead and close that zip so that I can give all of this a tug and make sure that I've got it pulled down and away from the zipper. And we're going to give that a little bit of a finger press. I'm going to go on this side, just make sure it's down as well. And then we'll just go right back in here and put our straight line on there. Starting at the end of the material, you are going to back stitch. Now, so I don't forget, I am going to go ahead and take my machine back to a 2.5. And now you can see we've got this great finished look and nothing's going to get caught up in our zipper. It is perfectly fantastic. We're going to match up our right sides together and our inside lining together. What I like to do is unzip my zipper, not all the way, but most of the way, so that that zipper, I'm going to let you see on this side, will pull kind of towards the lining side. I like it for it to be out towards the lining. I'm going to be matching up my my exterior pieces, not inside here, but the exterior pieces. I want those to match up. They're really important that they do match up because that's what everybody's going to see, okay? I'm going to go ahead and hang my lining pieces down, and I'm going to put a clip on there because I know that's matched up perfectly. I'm going to go over to the other side, and again, I'm just matching up those exterior pieces because they're the important ones. And then we're going to put our clip on there, and then I just go around and do a few clips. And again, we're leaving this open. If you are someone who will forget what you're doing when you're sewing, mark that. You can absolutely do that. What I'm going to do is start here, and then I will come back around. I'm at 2.5, and we're going to do a back stitch, and I'm doing it at little over 1/4 of an inch. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm gonna do this at 1/4 of an inch. Your lining could stand to be a little bit smaller. You don't want it exactly the same size, so you can make your stitch on your lining side, the seam allowance, you can make that a little bit bigger. I worked all day today. Help me find my words. Okay, when you get to this, you can see how this is really thick right here. If you left enough room for your presser foot, it should just slide right on over this and you shouldn't have any problems at all. If you didn't and you're trying to puddle jump that zipper, one, it's not really going to turn out right, and you should probably rip it all out and cut a smaller zipper. Two, you could try the puddle jumper or whatever this thing is called. It came with my machine. You just put it underneath your, I'll just show you. You put it underneath your presser foot and it will help you get, I can't because that lump is there, but let's say you were coming this way. It just goes underneath and you sew in between and then you move it out, but it helps you get over those thick spots. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and cut corners. We'll take all these off. We are not gonna box any corners on this. This is really just a simple bag that you're gonna use in your purse. It doesn't need a box corner. You could do a little 1/2 inch box corner, which would end up giving you a full inch to sit that, but this is just something you're throwing in your bag and we don't need to overcomplicate it. All right, you're gonna reach in here. We're gonna pull our inside through. I'm gonna go ahead and reach in and grab the other corner just so I can kind of pop it out, and then I'll get my chopstick and pop it out the rest of the way. And we're gonna pull this through, turning that right side out. You are gonna grab your little tabs and you're just gonna press up and pull them out. And same thing over here, you're just gonna press and pull. We're gonna get our chopstick and poke that back down in here. Get that poked out. And like I said, you absolutely, if you wanted to, you could box your corner. I don't like that on my little inside, my purse pal. I don't want that to have boxed corners, but you sure can. All right. And now we're just gonna give this a tug and it should automatically just zip in there and you are good to go. Give it a, hold it tight. You don't really need a clip. You just gotta figure out where did you start and stop. I'm gonna give it a little extra and we're gonna go. And you have the cutest little zipper pouch ever. And again, it ends up at 7 by 5 1/4. That's, you know, counting the zipper tabs and all of that. And literally, if you use the, I do use a number 5 zipper. If you use that, a lot of times those zipper pulls will come with a big enough hole that you can attach your wristlet to it, which is awesome because now this can go anywhere with you. Grab it out of your purse and you are good to go. Now, let me just show you the difference here. You can see that this one has that batting in it. So it's got a little bit more solidness to it. This one does not. And it's got stuff in it right now. But you can see it's just a little more limp. But if you need that in your purse and you need it to be, you know, squishable, this one is going to be a little more stiff. So it's going to stand up and be sturdy in your bag. Just a few little points that you might want to think about when you're doing them. You do not have to do the batting. You can, and you can quilt these and they look amazing, especially if you're doing a patchwork, like a quilted look with some cute little floral patterns. Absolutely adorable, but not necessary. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.